So we aimed to build 3 of them. And that also taught us things like managing batches, managing errors, all the reporting, setting up customers, managing the life cycles, all that sort of thing. And I think our go live in total was 6 weeks, to really knowing nothing about your platform till we had 3 full integrations actually working. And since then, we've been pushing out. We just continue to add more customers as time passes. I'm David King. I'm the CEO and founder of Tribal Habits. We're an Australian-based SaaS platform, and we're in the learning industry. Our platform is a combination of 3 tools combined into one. So one of them is a learning management system. So it's an online platform for organizations to kind of manage enrollments and capture training data and training history. It's also a training creation platform, like an e-learning authoring tool. And it's built for anyone to use, not just L&D experts. So it allows anyone with expertise inside an organization to capture their knowledge, how they do things in that organization, important processes or policies or best practices or whatever, and turn that into online training. And then to help with that, we've got hundreds of ready-made training modules that we've written on common pieces of organizational knowledge, which can kind of supplement your internal expertise or maybe fill in some gaps around compliance or some kind of universal knowledge that you don't really want to create yourself. Our company is very much aimed at Australian and New Zealand organizations, starting from about 30 staff and up. And we're here to help them kind of capture and share that organizational knowledge. We're a small team. Our development team, including design and UX and all that, is less than 10 people. And one of the, we're trying to run a very lean organization. We have very high efficiencies, and we get a lot of scale out of the resources that we have. And one of the reasons we can do that is we do choose very carefully other platforms to help us get leverage in a variety of different areas. And so one of the challenges we needed to address here is this scale issue. And integrations require a lot of work if we're going to do it in-house. And we were trying to avoid that. We're trying to scale the existing resources that we had. So that was our first challenge, is we're a small team. The next part then was kind of the other challenge we're overcoming, splits into 3 pieces, but they're all related, and it's about growth in the business. So we've been growing quite rapidly over the last 2 years, and we felt ready to take the next step in the HR tech stack space in Australia, and to position ourselves against other platforms we admire in the HR and payroll area in particular. And to do that, we needed to be able to sit in that tech space and that tech stack. So we needed an integration solution for that. You can't sit here as a platform without integrations and be part of that tech stack. We also wanted to graduate and focus a little bit more of our sales efforts in the upper end of the market. Traditionally, we've been extremely strong in small business and mid-tier, and we're often the first learning platform for a lot of organizations who can't otherwise use or have a platform like us, because they're not really set up for smaller organizations where we are. But then we've had larger organizations just kind of love what we do and want to use this, but they really need integrations at their scale. So we needed to step in comfortably into that space. We needed integrations. Finally, we really wanted to improve our partnership channels. And to do that, we need integrations. When you're talking partnerships, particularly with other SaaS platforms, no matter how much we love each other as platforms, if we don't integrate, it's kind of not a great partnership. It's just it may or may not happen. But integrations allow us to turn, good intentions into good actions and have a genuine partnership as equals. We did do an internal project to kind of say, could we self-solve internally? What would be required to create essentially our own Wakato, our own internal integrations platform running on AWS somewhere, and then we create every single integration that we need and we set it up and run it in some way. And it felt like a big project, particularly if we wanted to get any sort of UI into it. If it was just going to be pure code, that does reduce it a little bit. But the problem with that is then it puts our developers, our small development team, under even more pressure because they're the only ones who can do anything. So if we then need to build UI on top of it to allow CSMs or product owners to come in and build integrations, this started to get very complex and look very time consuming. And once we'd done that scoping and we had that baseline, we then stopped and did what we usually do, which is go to market and see if there's a tool out there that can do these things off the shelf for us, which is the nature of SaaS. So we did ask around. We went to a couple of trusted Australian SaaS platforms and asked them what they'd been doing in this space and how they were tackling this issue. And Mercado's name came up in a couple of those conversations and came up in a very positive way. It didn't take us long to go live, and I'll get more into that in the detail. Part of this was because we had quite a specific use case. So our real use case is about user data sync. So we are getting user information from other platforms and then pulling that into Tribal Habits to create and update users in Tribal Habits. So really the underlying use case is to eliminate the effort for our platform admins to create and manage users. If they have an existing platform that is already a source of truth of user data, we want to integrate with that and eliminate this effort. It makes us an easier purchase because we've reduced the upfront effort. And so it also improves the data. So in learning, there's lots of reports that you're running and lots of training that needs to be assigned. And a lot of that is based around user profile. What's your job title? What's your location? When did you start? And so you need to maintain that information in your LMS. Now, organizations that don't have an integration have to manually update things where people are moving, changing job titles, leaving the business. If we have the integration, that effort goes away as well. So it's not just the initial population of the users and that initial setup, it's this ongoing syncing of data. So that's our use case, is this user management piece. All that really changes is where are we getting the users from? And then maybe some minor parts, like which fields exactly are we syncing? Like, are we syncing location or team or not? That sort of thing. So our go live process was to build 3 integrations with 3 different platforms that approached their data in different ways. We wish that every SaaS platform used the same API processes, but they don't. And so we have to learn each platform's API and how we get the users out in what format, and then how we process that into the format we need. So we aim to build 3 of them. And that also taught us things like managing batches, managing errors, all the reporting, setting up customers, managing the life cycles, all that sort of thing. And I think our go live in total was 6 weeks to really knowing nothing about your platform till we had 3 full integrations actually working. That's where I can see the differences. So first of all, we have the small team issue. And so essentially with really just one person, because I've done most of this myself at the start and I'm handing it over internally now, but I'm a non-technical founder, so I can't code. I can read things though, and I kind of get the gist of things like Ruby. I can do a little bit of it. But it was quite amazing that really just with one of us, non-technical, I'm not a developer, we could build all of this, document it all up, and I'm now handing it over with a neat little bow to our customer service team who can manage it from here. What I really like is the duplication process. We can really, as we get a new organization, copy it, put it as a new customer. We're just changing a couple of the fields and we're up and running really quickly. What that's also done is free up dev time. So our developers haven't been involved at all. Occasionally I have to go to my tech lead and say, can you just check this little thing in Ruby? I want to write a little formula, where he says, yes, that's right, Dave. And off we go. That's about it. If I think about graduating into the HR tech space stack, so we've helped a number of existing and new customers integrate. And more importantly, we've won a couple of customers that we wouldn't have won without integrations, and particularly one extremely large customer, which we were in a competitive process with, and our ability to run the integration was integral to winning that contract. And I've now noticed among what I consider to be our competitors, our integration capabilities are now exceeding theirs in terms of our ability to offer now new custom integrations and new things as we get more confident with it. So that's really helped us in that tech space and graduating. It's also helped us with our partners. So we've taken 2 of those partners who we had good relationships with and turned them into actual fundamental working relationships now that we have proper integrations with them. And they feel much more comfortable now recommending their customers to us.